I'm live, it says. Well, hey, do buckaroos. Sometimes I do a Sunday live, sometimes not. I try to get one in and finish off a couple products here that I had been working on for a while. Bear with me while I fix something real fast. It's not working for me. Anyways, I want to be toned a beer and whiskey whisper for the purpose of this video. I had some of this. I had about 2 ounces of this left. This is the Tyrconnel double distilled single malt Irish whiskey. This is their 10-year-old port cask finish. I picked this up back on January 2nd, and I had just that little tiny bit left. So I thought I'd finish it off. And the main reason for that is I had one of these left as well. Chili Water Circle City Irish Red. So it's an American craft version of an Irish Red. So I thought it'd be a nice pairing. It's a 5.2%. It's a beautifully done American version of the classic style. See if it'll let me do what I want to do now. It will not. I don't know what's going on. Let me check something here. Sometimes technology does not want to work with me. Oh, mercy. I am a little technologically challenged, I will admit. And I fear it's not going to get better. Oh, man, I hate this time change. It gets dark so early. It's pitch black and it's only 5:30. Let's see if this works for me. That did not. All righty. Well, try one more thing here, and then you'll have my undivided attention. Not sure why it's not working. So, yeah, I wanted to finish off those two products with you live. Oh, there we go. Now we're back in business. I don't know why that was taking so long. All righty. We are good. Good enough. It's good enough anyway, man. It's just my backdrop, but it really messes with my OCD if it's not all in the shot, you know? Anyway, how the heck are you? So let me show you what I got left here. It was about 2 ounces, just a hair over 2 ounces, actually. My wife found these really interesting snifters that had the shamrocks on them, so I thought I'd use that to finish off my Irish whiskey, even though you don't typically think of a snifter for an Irish. But it is a port cask finish after all. I figured, what the hell? Let's give it an elegant treat. Let's treat it elegantly in my last couple ounces here. Then my Irish Red using my right-handed pheasant mug. Why is it right-handed? Because if I use my left hand, you see, you can't see the pheasant. I have to hold it with my right hand, so it's a right-handed mug. And nevertheless, man, see if I can get the rest of that in there now. Or get close. There you go, sláinte. I didn't have this one at the brewery when I was there. I just got a 4-pack to go. I had something else at the brewery, but I was rather impressed with them. The beer, the customer service, the bartenders, beer tenders were knowledgeable. Oh, man, that's nice. You really feel those port wine notes on the nose. I'm going to miss this one. I really enjoyed it. But like I said, I've had it since January. It probably needed to go. I've been hanging on to it for a while. I drank a good chunk of it around St. Patrick's Day and then just a little bit here and there. But I figured it was time to go. Since I had this last chili water, I thought it'd be a nice pairing. Oh, man, that is really good. That's a good Irish. In my 30s, I grew up drinking bourbon, but in my 30s, I really became an Irish drinker, and I really became a single malt Irish drinker. My first Irish single malt was the Bush 10, which is a good it's a good lead in. I read an article about it right at the time I started drinking it. I said it was a good beginner single malt. And at the time, since that was my first foray into Irish single malt, I kind of took offense. I said, "Oh, this is a good whiskey, man." But they were looking back. Yeah, no, it is a good foray. It is a good intro to single malt, especially an Irish single malt. Irish single malts and Scotch single malts really are different animals, and it kind of just depends on what you prefer, right? Scotch drinkers hate the word smooth. It took me a long time to figure that out. Why was one word? Because bourbon drinkers use that word a lot. So I couldn't figure out at the time why Scotch drinkers hate it so much. And it has nothing to do with bourbon, really, bourbon drinkers per se. It's more to do with Irish whiskey. Irish whiskey is often referred to as the smooth, sweeter one. Typically, now there are some exceptions. There's always some exceptions, but typically Irish is a little sweeter and smooth. Yeah, so Scotch drinkers hate that word. They find it pedestrian, or that's what they want you to believe anyway. The truth is, Scotch drinkers are usually rather pretentious, and they think they're better than everybody else. uh, no, I'm just kidding. I don't hate Scotch or Scotch drinkers, to be honest with you. In my experiences with whiskey, as I've started with bourbon, went to Irish, worked myself into Scotch, and then single malt Scotch whiskeys, and then back to bourbon. Especially now that we've had such a great array of small American craft distilleries, and then now we have an American single malt category. A lot of our small distilleries are doing an American single malt, which is really changing the game. I have to admit, if I'm going between an Irish and a Scotch, I do prefer an Irish most of the time. And it's not that I dislike the peat per se, but yeah, I like the approachability of the Irish. They are a little bit sweeter typically than the Scotch counterparts. But I also feel like they come together better. A lot of Scotch to me seems a little disjointed. Vanessa, how are you? Sláinte. But I will admit, in my old age, I do prefer American whiskey. I prefer small distillery bourbon. I've really been liking a lot of rye lately. The Irish, I will admit, has become a little sweet for me in my old age. Gabriel, what's going on? I'm going to post Vanessa's comments. She says hi, and then I want to post your comment. Gabriel, hi, I'm here. If either of you are drinking anything, you want to talk about it, let me know what you're drinking. I'll show you. I just finished this one off. It's my Tyrconnel double distilled single malt Irish whiskey. It's at 92 proof. Let me show you that bottle. I had 2 ounces left ish, just a hair over 2 ounces. I do. You know what? So, growing up, you tend to drink what your parents drank, right? I started off as a bourbon drinker. Dad didn't like rye, so I never really tried them for a long time. It's really only been over the last few years that I've started trying a lot of ryes, and I really enjoy them a lot. I like the chewiness of the ryes. And now when I drink bourbon, I do prefer a traditional bourbon over a wheated bourbon. And when I say traditional, I mean a traditional bourbon uses rye as a secondary. Wheated bourbons to me are a little soft and sweet. And I like the chewiness, but of a traditional. But I really prefer a high rye bourbon, anything over 20%. Actually, I prefer anything over 25. But Yeah, I think if over 20, you can start talking high rye. For me, I like 25, 30, 35, or higher for that matter. I had one that was over 40% rye, and that sucker, it was like, I think it was 56% corn, 40% rye, 4% malted barley, and that thing was insane. Anyway, this is my last chili water, Circle City Irish Red, hence the pairing of an Irish whiskey with an Irish style ale here. I did visit that brewery in Indianapolis when we were there back in September. I really enjoyed it. They're a very nice brewery. Very friendly. Beer was great. That's why I bought a 4-pack to go. I did give away one of these. I have a friend that really likes Irish ale, so I gave her one. Mercy. Look at that color. That color is perfect. This is a very nice representation of the style. Yeah, I am. I'm trying to set a mood, Gabriel. I'm trying to set a mood. I got my holiday shirt on. I don't know if you can read it there, but it says, yeah, I probably have to stand up for you to read it. But got my Christmas shirt on. It says, "I do it for the hose." Got that Christmas background. Yeah, I'm trying real hard to get in the spirit. It's been tough. It's always tough, actually. My wife and I are trying real hard to get in the spirit. But it is hard. Holidays are hard for us. So, we lost our son to cancer in 2013. So holidays can be a little tricky. So I almost try to force myself sometimes to embrace the positive so I don't get, sucked down that rabbit hole of grief. Oh, poster comment there, Gabriel. I'm trying to relax on a Sunday. We were going to go for a drive today, but my wife wasn't feeling great, so we stayed home. Just taking it easy. I made some pollo chili verde or chicken chili verde for dinner. Remembering my time in Las Cruces. Oh man. So I used some poblano, some tomatillo. It was made a nice verde sauce. Had some chicken thighs. We used that. I made a Las Cruces or New Mexico style flat cheese and onion enchilada. Did some rice. Did some rice with tomatillo, poblano, and tomatillo, cilantro, and poblano, cilantro, and tomatillo. There we go. You get them 3 ingredients right. Then we had some Mexican cheese put over the top. It was nice. Missed my time in Las Cruces, man. I grew up in California, so I had that perspective on Mexican food. And then we moved to Las Cruces. They do things a little bit different there in New Mexico, so I added that to my repertoire. But then we moved from there to El Paso, Texas, which isn't that far from Las Cruces, but they have an entirely different Uh, yeah, they do it entirely differently there. So that was interesting. So now when I make Mexican food, I tend to do an amalgam of all three: a little bit El Paso, a little bit Las Cruces, a little bit California. But when I say California, I mean California in the 70s and 80s. They're doing shit now that, I mean, back in my day, we didn't put French fries in a burrito. I don't know when that shit happened, but that is all sorts of wrong. It is wrong to put French fries in a burrito. Put rice in a burrito. Put beans in a burrito. But yeah, but French fries, that's just wrong. So my perspective on California Mexican food is more 70s and 80s influence than what is happening now. I've been gone since 87, so anything after that, I carry no responsibility for. I don't know what happened after I left. I don't know what. I don't know who signed what pact with the devil. I don't know. But French fries do not belong in a burrito. I'm just saying that shit didn't happen when I was there. Anyways, I digress. But I digress, man. We had this little fast food Mexican joint about, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes, 10, 15-minute walk, actually, from our house, called the Green Burrito. But they were owned by Hispanic folks. And that place was just insanely good, man. I'd always get, well, I won't say always, I almost always got their cheese enchiladas with the verde sauce, because then their meals were served with this little guacamole salad and refried beans. They were just absolutely delicious, man. And I remember when I first got to hey, Southern Dandy, I'm sorry I missed your comment there. Let me Good evening, champ. That's short for champion. I'm glad you told me. I'd never figured that out. anyway, anyway, I digress. As always, if y'all have any questions or comments, you can throw it up there. I'll answer almost anything. But I am getting near the end of this beer. Time is getting short. Somehow I ended up on Mexican food. I started with Irish and ended up on Mexican food. So let me circle back. The Tyrconnel. So I bought this at a liquor store in Tulsa, January 2nd of this year, and I really enjoyed it. I drank most of it, however, around that period of St. Patrick's Day, because I tend to celebrate the whole month, but then a little bit here and there, and I just had about 2 ounces left, so decided to finish that off today, and mostly because I thought I drank them all, but I went through my beer fridge and realized I had one of these left from Chili Water Brewing out of Indianapolis, Indiana. I really like that brew. If you get a chance, they are rather impressive. Circle City Irish Red. This is a brilliantly done American version of the classic Irish style. It is very, very true to style, in my opinion. Anyways, I digress. I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and uh, nice and malty, slightly herbal, little earthy. I am Tom, the Beer Whisperer, Beer Evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all around good guy. Sláinte. Thanks for tuning in, guys.